Hello! So today I've been gifted this nice linen gingham pink dress, and I thought it would be nice to upcycle it into a dress more similar to the gingham dress that's in the upcoming Barbie film, do a kind of Barbie core type thing. So this dress is linen, and as you know, I quite love linen, but more importantly, it's a 60s style dress. This is something I think my friend found in the vintage sale. It's very much a vintage dress. But the problem is 60s dresses are very up and down. This was very much when we were in the shift dress kind of era, and there isn't much fabric to work with. And if I want to make it into a more fit flare 50s style dress, I'm going to have to find some fabric from somewhere to make the skirt a bit more full. So in order to do that, I'm going to reduce fullness in the top half and add it to the bottom half. So the main way I've done that is by getting rid of the sleeves. I've mapped out where I want the dress to end as a sleeveless dress, and these sleeves are going to be sacrificed into the skirt. I've also reduced fullness with darts at the front, and I also added darts to the back. Now I'm probably just going to sew these in, but if I need be, I may actually just trim these and add them to the skirt as well. What else am I doing? Oh yes, so there's also pockets. There's also pockets on the dress, and I'm going to sacrifice the pockets to make the skirt more full, which is quite sad because I do really enjoy a pocket, but I might add a little secret pocket out of it. Maybe similar material, maybe if I have something in my scraps, maybe not. And we're going to cut the dress in half so we can have a rectangle shape we can just add our fabric to and do our typical, you just make a rectangle and you just gather it and then we have a skirt type thing. So I'm going to start off with just cutting this in half and adding all the darts in and probably finishing up some little seams, and then we'll take it from there and we'll see what it looks like. And if it turns out terrible, this was a vintage dress that's going to get discarded anyway, so we've just saved a garment from landfill, so no pressure. So here's the scary part. I'm actually going to use my pinking shears because that will prevent fraying. I may come back and do machine things. What is the term? I may come back anyway and finish the raw seams a bit better if I do anything that includes high tension, like lots of machine washing or anything like that. But pinking shears saves time. Use them. Okay, let's go in. Oh, I also forgot to say, I've pinned to the without seam allowance, so I'm going to cut and leave a bit of fabric extra because you need to consider seam allowance, otherwise the garment will be too small when you sew it, blah blah blah. Just remember your seam allowance when sewing. Okay, I'm gonna go in now. So I'm getting the seam unpicker and I'm unpicking the seam down the centre back because we need to add a fastening in, and then I'm going in sewing down the darts I've added and pinned in using a running back stitch, which is a combination of a running stitch and a back stitch, so it doesn't take too long but also is secure. Hey, so this is the bodice that's sewn. I might need to do some shaping around the bust. The bust shape looks a bit strange, but it's looking okay right now. It's looking like a top, so I'm gonna just fix up the bodice, refine it a bit, and then I'm gonna move on to the skirt. And one thing is, we need a fastening. I'm going to rummage around for a zip to see if we have one, or I might have to find garments to sacrifice to find a zip. So let's go. So I've just unpicked the skirt at the back so you can lay it out flat, and it comes with two sets of a pair of fairly capacious pockets, and we've also got scraps of the sleeves, and the length of the skirt on me falls a bit lower than just below knee, so I could also potentially take off some of the hem and add that to the width. So we're just going to do that and make it as long as possible and see what we can do. So quite a bit of patchwork, running back stitch, pretty much the norm. So let's go and do that. So I've patchworked the skirt together. I've just pinned it for now. I haven't actually sewn anything down yet, but it's fairly big. It's just over 1.5 meters. So it's not going to be super full, but it's going to be a bit better than before. The old silhouette was very narrow and very restrictive. It was quite difficult to walk in it at times. It reminded me a little bit of those like hobble skirts from the 19 teens or some point in the modern era. Going off on a tangent again. But anyway, this is the skirt. I'm just going to sew it all together. I don't know if you can see, but at the sides we've got a load of patchwork of these skirts and bits of the sleeves, and we've essentially got the same thing here. And I have also cut the skirt down slightly because it is quite long, and I've also added that on the sides as well. So we're just using pretty much every scrap of fabric we can to get it as long as possible, and I think we'll get a fair amount of fullness. So I'm going to sew this down. So there's two options I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the normal, just gather it, it's easy and simple, or something a little bit truer to the dress in the film, which is done using a box pleat. At least it looks like a box pleat. So depending on how much maths I want to do, I'm going to do a gather, but we're going to do a box pleat. And a box pleat is like a reverse pleat. It's the best, I don't know how else to describe it, because I would get a piece of fabric and then fold this over, and then this is essentially the pleat, and it's like a little box between, like, and between underneath these. This is a terrible explanation. It's also a bit like, think of like a leaflet, and these two are like different pages, and then you open it up and it's like, ooh, this is probably a really bad explanation, but the box pleat looks something like that if I do it extremely crudely. So we're going to try gather a box pleat. So I've just found an old dress I don't really use, and I've just pretty much taken the zip off of it. It is black, so the zip is black, so it might be a bit of an issue. It might peek through, but it's an invisible zip, so it's not as much of a problem. I'm just gonna go in there with a back stitch, and probably next time you see me, it'll just be the finished thing. Also, since it's kind of relevant, here's some vintage Barbie plasters that I've just hoarded from the 2000s. It is still wild to me that the 2000s counts as vintage now, but the passage of time, it's going to keep going and stops for no one.